For more now, it is time for Runs, Hits, and Errors with our Meredith Marakovits. And Meredith, it was a much-needed comeback win for the Yankees last night. After the series versus Toronto ends tomorrow, they will return to the Bronx for the final homestand of the regular season. So what is the mindset of the team as they try to make this playoff push?
And Nancy, the mindset is just win. They need to do everything in their power to get some W's. They don't have a huge margin of error here, and they still need, even if they were to win out right now, they would need some help from some teams. So they're taking it game by game, but Joe Girardi has mentioned in the past couple of days, look, it would be impossible to not pay attention to the standings, to not pay attention to what other teams are doing. However, there still is a belief within this team, if we handle our own business, things might work out for us, or things can work out for us. So that's the mentality right now. Take it game by game and find a way to pick up wins, and it all starts with the starting pitching, and that'll start with Hiroki Kuroda tonight. But in order for them to rattle off the amount of wins they're going to need to get this done, it's going to need to be a full team effort, Nancy.
Yeah, and that it was last night. Tonight, the Jays will take their turn at honoring Mariano Rivera, but last night, Mariano, a huge 4-out save, his 44th on the season.
And Nancy, Joe Girardi has counted on him a lot this season, especially in the last month. They've really leaned heavily on him, using him sometimes 3 days in a row, 4 out of 5 days, and sometimes for extra outs, not just in that ninth inning that we're so accustomed to seeing him in. Joe Girardi's been going to him in the eighth sometimes, and he was asked today, would you consider a 6-out save for Mariano Rivera? Would you bring him in to start the eighth? And he said, well, I don't know about that, but right now he's a guy that he checks on every day, but Mariano isn't saving anything for next year. He wants to be out there if he feels as though he can help the team. And he said asking Mariano Rivera how he feels is kind of like asking Derek Jeter how he feels. He'll give you the same answer all the time, which is, I'm fine, I can go. So now Joe Girardi has to kind of decide, is he actually able to go out there and help the team? And he'll count a lot on Larry Rothschild to see how he's throwing in the bullpen, if that ball is still cutting, to determine exactly when Mariano needs a break and when he really is able to go out there and be on the mound in that ninth inning.
And just a little bit ago, you touched on Hiroki Kuroda. He takes the hill for the Yankees tonight. He has battled in the month of September, but he is winless in his last 6, and you know he wants to get going. He does take pride in giving the team length.
He does, and if you look at him his last couple times out, he has been able to give them 6 innings in 4 out of his last 5 outings. But let's take a look at him in September. 0-1 is the record, and you see he's giving him innings, but he is allowing runs. He's also allowing home runs, something that he hasn't done throughout the course of this season. And if you look at it, some question had been, is it a little bit of fatigue? He's pitched 189 and 2/3 innings already so far, and this is a guy that they really relied heavily on earlier in the season. He had been their most consistent pitcher, really, through the All-Star break, but really hit a speed bump. And if you look at him against AL East opponents over the last 10 games, he is 1-7 with an ERA over 5. Now, he has fared pretty well against this Blue Jays team here in 2013, 2-1 with an ERA just over 3. So they're hoping they see a lot more of the Hiroki Kuroda they saw earlier in the season. Joe Girardi saying that splitter is going to be huge for him. And he's had some trouble early in games. In the first and second innings, Nancy, he hasn't really been able to find his stuff. It takes him a little while to find it, and then he kind of settles in and is able to give them length. They're hoping he can figure out exactly what's going to work for him earlier in this one than he's been able to in the past couple outings.